Hey everybody, welcome to The Remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pantelleresco, and you're listening to us live on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. You can access the show by typing in www.themicroeffect.com. Then click on the appropriate links, the chat room links. Come on in, make friends, get acquainted, connect, compliment, cooperate. We might have a solution if we get together. I'm published throughout several parts of the internet. There's byebyebluesky.com, Brian396.com are two sites as well that are very up on what's going on, as well as throughout the internet. So if you want to look me up on YouTubes or whatever, I'm also there. I'm going to start off the show with a thought-provoking concept. We've all heard about the Blue Beam Project. All of us have heard about the Blue Beam Project. And I started thinking about that today. Okay, the Blue Beam Project. We're going to see images in the sky. We're going to see maybe Jesus coming back. We may see Muhammad come back. We may see Moses come back. We may see Vishnu come back. We may see Buddha come back. We may see the creator of native belief systems come back. Or we might see even aliens show up. And then I got to thinking about all that, and I thought, well, how would we see this? How are we going to see this? And then it dawned on me that blue light, you can look this up yourself. Check it out. Go look it up. That they have done experiments with blue light and blue beams that can now affect not only brain chemistry, but brain shape as well. Now, that's interesting. We've got a blue beam project, and we've got a blue light that can also affect the brain. Interesting. I don't believe in coincidences. I'm one of those type of guys. I grew up where the rubber met the road. I'm an old ex-truck driver. Anyone who's driven truck knows what I'm talking about. Either it's there or it ain't. It's not a complex concept here. Either you're telling the truth or you're BSing people. It's one or the other. It's never, there's no in between. It's either games or reality. So then I thought, okay, we got a blue beam project and we got a blue light that we can now focus on brain cells. And then I thought, okay, now how is that going to work? How can that really work? Because in order to be able to access the brain, we have to have a conduit or some kind of connection to be able to access the brain. You just can't, fire the frequencies unless there is some kind of transceiver or receiver inside the brain. And I kept thinking about that, okay, we're talking about nanotechnology, nanobiology. We're talking about now carbon C60. They're trying to sell everybody and get everybody to take and consume. We've heard Elon Musk talking about putting a thread, a thread inside the brain so that we can have a neural link to the artificial intelligence. But what if, now again, this is all speculative. There's probably some documentation that will validate what I'm saying here, because it does seem to make the most sense to me anyway. Anybody who's studied nanobiology or synthetic biology or nanotechnology will tell you that nano does not work at all the same way that normal things do. And in fact, it operates on different principles of physics altogether. So what if we put a material in the brain that's superconductive, no resistance, can embed itself into the brain, and can interface with other materials, can integrate with other DNA or genetic code, and can fit right into the big scheme of things and allow information to travel to and fro. And what if we could fire a blue beam into that transceiver, that model, and then allow you to see, or the appearance of what appears to be whatever it is I want to fire? Just a concept, just a thought. See, I've been watching a lot of these programs lately, these super soldier programs, and just talked to my friends of mine the other day, because I was watching this other program on the YouTube, and this woman saying, oh, they don't show us, the elite don't show us anything on the internet, they don't show us anything through movies and whatever. And I thought this woman was a complete moron. And she looked like she'd been possessed as well. Matter of fact, I had other people look at this because I'm of the mindset. I believe in the living God. I believe in Christ. I believe in, the one that's coming back. Muslims believe Jesus is going to come back too. And I find that interesting that they have decided to create a war between Muslims and Christians, and they believe the same thing in the sense of Christ coming back to set things straight. And I got news for you: if he doesn't come back to set things straight, this planet, as we know it, is gone. That's the reality of it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about him coming back. It's not a matter of if he's coming back; it's a matter of when. But anyway, when we look at this tech and we look at some of the implications of this technology and how we can affect the way we think and to affect the brain patterns, and how we can maybe even induce a reality that doesn't exist, is a very scary concept. And when you start looking at this research very thoroughly and very intently, and when I talk about research, I'm not talking about guru research. I'm not talking about supposed scientific research that's coming from some institution because it's got a name, NASA or DARPA or MIT or some kind of horse hockey name, And the NASA that they may be talking about may not be the space program either. It may not be the space agency. It may be something else. They're using the same, acronyms. But I'm talking about real research. When we start looking at the scientific integration of military research, we start looking at industrial research, we start looking at chemical research, we start looking at biological research, we start looking at research from other countries, we compare notes, we see where everybody is as far as their advancements with this technology and its development. That's when we can get a clearer picture of what's going on. When you see the guru science that's there today, the guru science is going to tell you that everything that they've got is going to be the best thing going. You're going to be 90 years younger. You're going to have the sex drive of a 12-year-old. You're going to be, rack stacked and packed. You're going to be, the fountain of youth. You're going to live forever. Whatever other horse hockey they're telling you. Oh, we can retard the aging. We can turn back the hands of time 50 years. Whatever it is that strokes your boat, that tickles your ears, that allows you to believe in the fantasy, is what they will propagate. And this is what I've seen time and time and time again. I get very selective in interviews I do now and shows, because if they're out there trying to market anything that I'm not up on or don't agree with, I basically will turn them down. I'm not about to get into a debate match. I'm basically getting into a wait and see match. See, I'm going to wait and see what has happened, because so far everything we've said, Brian 396 and myself, in regard to this technology and this biology has come to pass. Not that there were prophets, it's because we did our research and we validated the research, just what we've done with our own health in regard to the inflammation and infection and oh really? Okay, we have a caller, Corvan. Okay, Corvan, are you there? Pretty good. How can I help you? Well, in order to change the direction of everybody, you can't continue using the things that are designed by your physiology or genetics. And if we alter the genetics and we alter the code, we alter everything. I just had a call about an hour before the show. An elderly woman from Florida contacted me. She's a client and friend. She was concerned about her grandchildren. And I told her, I said, you can give them the simplest nootropics out there by combining egg and rosemary and sage and thyme. scrambled eggs, sunny side up, soft boiled, whatever, and mixing them together and using butter. But, I said, if you continue putting the genetic material into the child, the bread, the grains, the cereals, the rice, and all that stuff, because there's no organic as far as that goes, hasn't been since 1960, then what winds up happening is everything you're doing is just going to be moot, because if you continue putting things into the system that's going to keep on derailing the genetic code or overriding the DNA, whatever you're going to do is going to have very nominal effect, if at all. So the whole idea behind what's going on is not just about the natural, it's about where it's going, what they're doing and why they're taking you there. You know, it's all about changing. We're basically trading gods. We're trading the living God for an artificial intelligence. That's what we're doing. And we're now allowing, I shouldn't say we're allowing, let me rephrase that. The system is trying to implement into us the technology and the nano constructs required for us to interface with this new God, which is nanobiology, nanotechnology, carbon fullerenes, silica, whatever, in order for us to be better interfaced with this new system. Even Elon Musk was talking about a neural thread in the brain so that we would be directly linked to artificial intelligence, which he said without that connection we would be like a cat or a dog today on an intellect level. So we wouldn't be able to even survive the transition if we didn't have this. But what he forgot to mention is if anybody puts that neural link into their head, the artificial intelligence will override whoever you are or whatever you are, because it has its own self-upgrading program. In other words, it can write its own program. And if you once you're attached to it, it will recognize you as part of its system, so then it'll begin to initiate an override on you as well. And there is no putting the 3 laws of robotics into this thing, because it doesn't matter now. Once the program was set that it could rewrite or overwrite its own program, the 3 laws of robotics would have been completely moot. It would be just like us having the 10 commandments, and it says thou shalt not kill, and you kill anyway. You have the same capacity to override that program or that command that's being put there in front of you. This complex technology, it can do that as well. So it's more than just altering the natural, it's where is it going. Well, that's the program. Okay, that is the program. I mean, okay, we do have options. We still do have options today. Let me explain something about Walmart and grocery store shopping at these places. When you're looking at buying these foods, these are basically manufactured. And I was going to talk about today what their new idea in protecting the plant life to again increase the volume of the plant life that they're harvesting from the farmer's field, but to shorten your genetic code. This is the trade-off here. But anyway, when you're looking at the food at Walmart or any grocery chain, Kroger, Superstore, Loblaws, whatever you have, Metro, whatever you have going on, okay, you may need to get things from there, and there are some things, if you read the labels, you may still find things that are somewhat decent. But if I'm going to buy my meat from now on, or eggs or dairy products, excuse me, I don't even bother going to the grocery store for these things unless it's yogurt. I go directly to the farmer. Okay, and I've been saying this for years and years and years. Support the local farmer. See, because if a group of you get together and get into cow shares and animal shares and whatever, and he can get the support from a good group of people that are going to be consistently supporting him and supporting him as a market, then he's going to grow what's required. He may even develop a greenhouse technology so that the food you're buying will come from that. Even the meat. Look at the meat at Walmart. That meat looks like crap. It's got full of marble, full of white stuff in it. We never had that. I'm a 50s baby. We never saw that growing up. The meat we had was lean. There was no fat, no marble in the meat. When I buy my meat from the farmer, it's still this. It looks the same way that it used to when I bought it when I was a kid. It tastes the same as I used to when I bought it as a kid. So we have options here. You can support the Walmart or support the guy who's local in your neighborhood. So we got to start thinking in terms of, okay, I'm well aware of the fact, you may be a McDonald's child or a Whopper child, or, with Burger King child, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Taco Bell, whatever, Pizza Hut. And I understand that we all grew up with that. I mean, they started that crap with my generation. But I don't go there. You know what I mean? I know that's not real. I know that stuff is just, it will put me, in contraction. My gut will never talk to me for a month if I eat that stuff. So, we have to start thinking in terms of, okay, they are screwing me here with mainstream, so let's do an alternative. Let's get it together with a group of us. Let's go in and split on buying a cow. Let's split on buying a sheep. Let's split on buying a goat. Let's split on buying, 20 chickens or 20 ducks or 20 geese. Whatever the farmer's doing, right? Let's split, get a cow share so we can get real milk from the cow. Let's get our eggs from the farmer. It's going to be far less contaminated than by the time it goes from the farmer to the grocery store. It's been stored in silos, which they spray chemicals on. They've irradiated the food. They're putting preserving agents. They're gassing these foods. They're spraying nano silver on the stuff. I mean, the list goes on and on. So by the time you get it from the farmer to the grocery store, you're basically hooped. Well, like I said, you got a generation, like I said, from the 50s. That's us. He's more of a 40s baby, or early 50s. And when you're looking at the how they transitioned us. Look, they gave us a polio vaccine that didn't need to give us. There was already a cure for polio: copper chloride, copper ascorbate, copper sulfate. That cured polio. Yet they decided to put this crap into us. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what caused it, what brought it on, and it probably I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it came from a lab. Everything else today that we're being infected with has come from a lab. Even today's viruses are not even viruses today. They are programs. They're actual programs coming from nano, and look, these STDs that have come about in the last 20 years. This is not God's wrath. This is the scientific community releasing biological pathologies with nanotechnology. Okay, if somebody was to actually get a herpes virus, if it's just a virus, the immune system would sooner or later be able to contain that and control it. All of us in our genetic code have syphilis. All of us, over centuries of whatever, syphilis became part of our genetic code. But our genetic code was able to develop a response to this. So today we don't have these outbreaks unless you get involved with somebody with a compromised immune system. But today's STDs and everything else that we're dealing with, all the autoimmune disorders that we're dealing with, all these cancers we're dealing with, this isn't coming just from some kind of biologic. This is coming from programming that's being embedded into a biologic. We're not dealing with a simple biology anymore. We're not dealing with a simple genetic anymore. So when people start waking up on that reality, that's when they're going to really wake up and realize that the reason why the medical field can't cure you is because the scientific community is infecting you. That's where we're at today on the whole subject matter. We are no longer. Look, when you look at the turn of the century, there was a few diseases that were out there. But look at the whooping cough disease. If you look at the video, Vaccination: The Hidden Truth, it was filmed in Australia. They used the American studies. When whooping cough came out, whooping cough was dying on its own. people's immune systems was already developing a counter to this, because they still had the GCMAF inside their bodies. It wasn't taken out by the polio vaccine. So their bodies were able to adapt and come up with its own countermeasure. Now, the doctor researcher there stated that when they put the vaccine into play, the whooping cough virus actually jumped back up again. Same thing with the polio. Polio was going down all by itself until they brought in the vaccine. Then it shot back up. This was biological warfare that they started initiating way back in the day, and they used the general population in its experimentation. So we are in a whole different world today. With you are going to see, plain out, when Brian 396 and myself started doing this research on nanobiology, synthetic biology, nanotechnology, I stated to him, you watch, after about a year or two after we come out with this, people are going to come up with all kinds of bogus crap that's going to deal with the so-called Morgellons, which is, there is no Morgellons in all reality. If you're looking at this from a right perspective, this is nanobiology. That's what this is. It's not a simple pathology like some of these people have made it to being. And when you look, I said to him, when you look at this stuff, you're going to start seeing people come out and sell bogus crap dealing with nano or some other crap. And sure enough, not even a year after we came out with our research, that people started selling like this carbon C60 crap and this other nonsense, nano silver and all these other nano delivery methods, especially in the health food industry. So we know for a fact that these are hijacks. These are counterproductive to people, and people are going to get swayed by it because, again, people don't read. They just read what they are following in regard to the sales pitch of the day. Nobody's really investigating correctly the way they should, and so instead they get into these things and then get sick. I had a woman contact me 4 shows ago, after I did the show on carbon C60. She contacted me and told me that she had bought this product, used it, and within 7 days her health declined dramatically. And I knew what was going on was this stuff was interfacing with or integrating with her DNA. And again, when I watched the video, because they had to come out with a rebuttal to what I had been saying about the product, they actually called me out by my name, which I was really surprised. And then the guy had this BS going that I didn't show this Tony Pantelis guy who you never see his face. I got 154 videos on the YouTube. How can you not miss my face, you know? But anyway, they made all these comments, and the woman that was doing the oration there was stating how, a lot of companies will say that, it's a great product, but they leave out the negative studies. And then I wrote them on their thing that says, you know what, you guys are hypocrites because you've done the exact same thing. You're saying how these companies do this, and now you've done the same thing. It was a play on words. It was a whole thing being orchestrated and choreographed and manipulating people with making them think that these guys have something, and they don't. So when you're looking at the stuff today that we're talking about, you know, the onus is really going to be on you to really take the time to investigate thoroughly. I got a site up with all kinds of information on the nano and the synthetic biology. Brian 396 has a site up. Bye Bye Blue Sky has a site up. These are launching pads. This is not the end-all be-all of the research, but when you actually see what is being presented there, it is going to provoke you to start to think. Okay, and this is what everyone needs to start to do. We cannot just assume anything anymore. We can't assume the FDA is going to look after you. You cannot assume that the health protection branches like Canada and Europe are going to look after you. I mean, you can't even look at the Environmental Protection Agency in the United States to look after you. Look at those chemtrails above you. Where the heck are they? They should be screaming bloody murder that this is being rained upon the country. Got the same problem here in Canada, and it's not just these two countries, it's global. So when you start to pay attention to what is happening about you, okay, and you start seeing that, hey, what is it? Everybody looks sick. Everybody looks like they're genetically disorientated. Everybody looks like they're genetic anomalies now. They don't look normal. You got people looking like they're round for sound. They look like they're obese. They look like they've got health issues. They can't breathe. They're all wearing some kind of hearing aids, or I still don't wear glasses. You know, I'm in my sixth decade in life. I still don't wear glasses. You know, so when you're looking at these people, by the time they're 5 and 6 years old, have diabetes. Somebody told me the other day, what was it they were having issues with? By the time they were 8 years old, they were already having a health issue. I'm thinking, what the heck is this? So that's where we're at today. So when you're telling me that people don't know about certain things, that's how far they've taken everybody off the beaten path. So you still there? Okay, listen, we're going to move on. Listen, thanks for your call. And I want to continue on what we're going to do because we're going to come to a break anyway. So anyway, thanks for the call. So when we're paying attention to what's about us, I'm going to read something today in regarding to what they see as a solution to agriculture in regarding to pest control. I'll do that after the break because we're coming to the break pretty soon. But when we see this and you actually look at this research and you actually start to decipher this research, it sounds, the way they presented the research, if you didn't pay attention to the actual what they were saying, you would have been sold on the idea that this is going to be a great product or a great idea, a great concept. But when you actually look at it, it's not so hot. All right, listen, come on back. We're going to take a break, and we'll see you in a bit. Hey, everybody. Are we there? I hope we're here. Alrighty. I want to talk a little bit more about this whole concept of being sabotaged on so many different fronts. you're going to have to seriously look at some of this research and have it, and again, look at this with present mind. You know, this is, I'm going to read this article to you, and this whole thing is such a it's such a farce. I'm looking at this and I was holy jumping. You got to be kidding me here. I'm going to read to you what they're planning on doing with the farmer, you know, with farming, and so that you know, look at what's really happening here, so you're not caught up on the word game, because you have to really understand the wording here and what they're saying here. All right, they start off by saying nearly 10,000 to 50 to 500,000 green leaf-eating insect species are plaguing species responsible for the loss of 14 to 25% of total global agricultural production. That's not really a whole lot when you sit there and think of it from a planetary perspective. It wouldn't be even a whole lot on a national perspective either. But let me get into this here a little bit, you know, because I mean, this is unbelievable. But due to environmental degradation, okay, they were saying here that insecticide chemicals used to alter the metabolism of insects to stop their life cycle or reproduction has been used since the 16th century to combat crop destruction. Well, that's a long time for the planet to be being polluted, don't you think? 400 years, or almost 500 years we're going on. 400 years of being polluted with insecticides. That's, you know, no wonder the planet's a little pissed off. But due to the environmental degradation of the chemicals, the quantities which insecticides must now be used to be effective pose a significant threat to human health. Now, pay attention to this concept here. See, they're giving you a little bit of the truth here. Okay, the amount of insecticides that we now have got to use, because we've got to keep on increasing it because it keeps getting washed away, or because it breaks down in the soil. So in other words, it builds up over a period of time. That this is going to become a threat to human health. Okay, as a result of leaching, UV degradation, and hydrolysis, as much as 90% of the applied agrochemicals are ineffective, requiring repeated application to the insecticides, which in turn leads to developed insect resistance and elimination of the pest natural predators. When you read this, you know this is horse hockey from the word get-go. The word get-go. No. So, so when you're talking about how they're talking here with this, 90% of are ineffective. That's incredible. If 90% of the insecticides are ineffective, why are they still putting Roundup in the soil? Why are they still putting atrazine in the soil? Why are they spraying nanosilver in the soil? Why are they putting 2,4-D in the soil if it's a 90% useless? It's ineffective. They're not working. So why do they keep putting them in the soil? And they're just telling you a second ago that they could be a threat to human health. Like I said, when you actually look at this, the content and how they're putting this, they're putting it in such a way that, oh, we need to put more in, because if we don't put more in, it's going to hurt you. It could cause problems for you, but they're telling you they're not working, so they got to put more in. If they're not working, why are you bothering in the first place? And on top of that, the insecticides that they're killing the predator insects that go after the other insects that are causing the problems. Now, this is sort of counterproductive, don't you think? Why are we putting insecticides that are killing off the insects that would normally hunt down the pest? What a load of horse hockey here. Anyway, Controlled release formulations. This is the term. Now, okay, now I want you to pay attention to this terminology. Controlled release formulations would improve the efficacy of pesticides by ensuring the active compounds are released only at target site via regulation of an inert material. One such CRF solution in use is mesoporous silica nanoparticles. Mesoporous silica nanoparticles are diatomaceous earths. You know that stuff they're selling you in the health food store? The one they're telling you your body can't absorb? It goes right through you? That's what they want to use. That's what they're talking about. Oh. Can you, are you getting this now? Is there some is the light going on here? Mesoporous silica nanoparticles deliver insecticides. Mesoporous silica nanoparticles are made by reacting tetraethyl orthosilicate on a template of micellar rods to form porous nanoparticles. The pores are then injected with the desired active compound and covalently capped with gold nanoparticles. Now, isn't that interesting that when you combine silica and gold together, they create a problem? Notice that? The gold is the same component that they're using for genetically engineering the seeds that you're eating, that you're growing with. So gold nanoparticles, which will release the insecticide when the gold nanoparticles come in contact with a chemical uncapping trigger, such as the alkaline solution in the insect's stomach. See, now, think about this correctly. When you consume mesoporous silica nanoparticles or diatomaceous earths, you're not having a delivery method. You're now getting this full on. And these particles can shred tissue, soft tissue, like the lining of your stomach, like the lining of your colon, like other organs. And it can translocate through other parts of the body. Now think about this for 1 minute now, 1 second. Take a look at your vitamins. Go take a look at the drugs you're on. Go take a look at some of the food you're buying. Look at the salt you're consuming. And see if you have silica dioxide in there, which is the same thing as this. Imagine that. Imagine all of you who are having problems with the gut because you've been consuming some form of silicon, which I have stated to you that you have absolutely no way of breaking down. And the acids will react with the alkaline of this material, causing a chemical reaction to cause damage in the cells and in the tissue. The higher surface area to volume ratio created by the nanoparticle structure makes mesoporous silica nanoparticles effective delivery carriers, and the size adjustable 3D open pore structure allows for regulated absorption rate. Now let me read this here. By decreasing the amount of pesticides used by the I'm just going to call it MSN, mesopore, or diatomaceous earth. Let me call it diatomaceous earth. Also, decreases costs to the farmer by limiting reapplication of expensive chemicals, protect the environment and untargeted organisms, and reduce human pesticide exposure and poisoning. Now, let me read this to you. See how this is the caveat here. This is the BS here. They're saying that by putting this in there, we're now going to control the flow of the pesticide, which is the silica, which is on a nano scale, which means it'll permeate and penetrate into the plant that you're putting it in or putting the stuff on, which means you can't wash it off, which means now you're going to consume this. Now, this is the BS on this. The BS on this is quite alarming. Here's a trade-off. You reduce the pesticide, but you get higher concentrations of silica, which causes DNA damage to you. You win some and you lose some. So the win here is you have a poison crop with a pesticide and nano-delivered pesticide, and now you have a DNA and genetic malfunction as a result of consuming this technology or nanobiology. We're going to have more stuff to eat, but it's going to cause more damage to our genetic code in the long run. So I have more crop but more damage. I'm going to save the crop because I don't have to put as many chemicals on the crop, so they're saying. But if this is releasing a time release method, that means that the chemicals are going to stay longer in the field, which means that the soil itself will stay poisoned for a longer period of time. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that special? Now let me read this to you. This is the last part of this comment here. To solve the problem of global hunger issues such as inadequate food, transportation, food waste, 1.3 billion tons and unfavorable food costs must also be addressed to reach a holistic solution. This is not a holistic solution. But this is the word game. This is another word game. And they're pushing hard carbon and silica for you to consume on a nano scale. I started to show off initially about the Blue Beam project, and I wanted you to think about the Blue Beam and the capacity to have signals and frequencies to be able to access your brain. With a Blue Beam, having an access point. See, a lot of targeted individuals are out there today are having the targeting sequence happening to them because of implants or materials inside the body that have structured themselves to form the capacity to receive a signal. So as long as that capacity is there, you are going to be attacked and you're going to be targeted. And it all comes at different times with different people, depending on their genetic code, their genetic makeup, type of foods they're consuming, and the amount and volume of the nanoparticulates you're putting in the system, and then the activation. Once you get activated, then it's a perpetual hell you have to deal with. You will eventually see implants come out of your body. You will see different things come out of your body, fibers, materials, and other things, which again are using your protein to assemble in your system. Whether it's using a carbon fullerene or a silica-based fullerene or silica-based particulate matter or a combination thereof, plus other materials, they will use your biostructure to induce the network that is required to further transfer these signals throughout your body. That's why it's imperative that you do not consume foods that have a high concentration of nanoparticulates of any kind, nor that you start investigating accurately the research that's out there, not the marketing crap that's out there today to sell you whatever. The long haul here is termination. Okay, whether it's through giving you a cancer through this technology, whether it's causing an autoimmune disorder through this technology, whether it's cause a brain malfunction or neural network malfunction in your body, a genetic malfunction in your body, a DNA malfunction. I mean, have you not been paying attention over the last 4 or 5 decades how much damage that people are suffering today in regard to their health? You know, in regard to you know, what we're dealing with today. I mean, how many of you, when you were kids going to school, had maybe the odd 2 or 3 kids in the classroom that were always sick? That was the initial beginning of it, believe it or not. And a lot of things that we're seeing today in regard to our health issues and the health damage is all tied to all of this. This has been an accumulation of this stuff. And anything that they're selling today is to further overload the system so that you become a better transceiver. That Blue Beam project is just the beginning of something bigger in regard to taking over the minds of men and women. You notice I said the term men and women. You better start using those terminologies if you want to be able to be recognized in life. Because if you call yourself a human or a person or a people, you know, or a community, and not call yourself a man or a woman, you have no rights in this system. And when these things get into you, they are going to try to take you over to allow you to be assimilated by the programming that's running today. Television, radio, movies, all kinds of media on the internet is all by design and intent to get you to, in all shapes and forms, to become assimilated to the programming. First to agree with it and then to be attached to it. That's what this is really all boiling down to. You know, how many of you are going to wear the mark of the beast? How many of you are saying you're not going to, but on the same token you are capitulating to accept the philosophy of today, the ideologies of today. You are agreeing to a lot of these principles. You're not even investigating correctly what you should be looking at. I will tell you this from somebody in this industry who's been in this industry for quite some time. I will tell it you straight out. This industry today is about 95% BS. It used to be about 95, 97% full-on, helpful, and beneficial. Today, it isn't. Today, you actually have to start reading, taking a magnifying glass with you. You have to start reading what you're buying. If you don't, and I'm going to tell you this again, if you don't understand what you're buying, don't buy it. Don't buy it because somebody suggested it to you. Don't buy it because your friends are taking it. Don't buy it because some guru got out there and started doing a song and dance, and for $5 he did a striptease in front of you just to sell you a product. These guys are prostitutes, period. They sell their own mother to make a dime, a lot of them. I've talked with a lot of them. I can tell you stories with some of them. They don't care. They will sell their product. They will push their product no matter what, even if the product's got garbage in it. I've had that. I've had confrontations with some of these people, and it didn't bode well for. Well, it didn't bode well for me, but people hurt. Let's put it this way. Don't allow yourself the luxury of being compliant or easygoing to go along to get along, because the corruption of your health is in your hands. Whether you just go along to get along or actually do some studying. And I'm pointing this out to you, and I'm pointing out to you just again how things are worded today in regard to how they're presenting their version of the truth. When you sit there and actually look at that article I just stated there in regard to the what they're doing, and if you're reading it with the way they programmed you to understand how they worded this article, you'd think this is not a bad idea. Hey, we'll use less pesticides, we're going to use less this, less that, and it's going to be time released. When we start looking at that equation, time release means it's going to be in the soil longer. It means we're going to have more of this stuff, and we're going to be eating more of it because more of this crop will survive, obviously, so there'll be more to eat, and now this stuff will be embedded into the plant. And that's on top of smart sensors that are already embedded into the plant. Nano silver, which is already embedded into the plant. So, and if these things are 90% ineffective, why are they keeping on spraying them? 14% of a food loss on the planetary scale is not a big number, really. It's a big number when you think of the huge volume as for the overall planet. But when you're starting to think in terms of what that actually amounts to, on a national scale, it doesn't amount to a whole lot. Again, and you can take numbers and crunch them any way you like and say, well, we got, if you add Europe and Africa, and you add Russia and China and Australia, New Zealand, United States, South America, Canada, and you throw it all together, yeah, it looks like, oh, wow, that's a lot. But it really isn't. There is absolutely no reason we need to be putting this crap in the earth. But hey, somebody's got to make a dollar, and the medical field's got to make some money, because if you're not sick, they don't make anything. The chemical industry needs you sick. We need you sick. We need you, and we need you attached to artificial intelligence. We need you to do this. All right. I'm always supporting activism. The Micro Effect Broadcasting Network is a form of activism by allowing people like me to tell you things that you need to hear. So again, support them. Give them your support any way, any shape, any way you can. Help them out. Help them get things going. I believe there's a satellite thing going on with the Micro Effect. So again, help them out. Get that satellite feed up and running so that we can reach further and more people and get people more awakened to the realities of today. ByeByeBlueSky.com. Brian396.com, myself, augmentedforce.com. Again, these are sites you may want to investigate for yourself, to take a look at the research, the valuable research that's been put out there to help you and assisting you in discerning the truth, so you're not buying products that are designed to hijack, sabotage, or integrate you with other technologies that you're not aware of. that would be probably the best thing I could tell you in regard to these sites. Check them out. Check out what you can. Learn as much as you can, and then expand your horizons by all means. You can also go on my site and look at the catalog link. In the catalog link, I have there the bucket, the triangle, I have the flash drive. I've got the old-fashioned remedies made with tinctures and extracts. We also have books on DVD. We have all these things going. So, if you're interested, feel free to call me at 519-977-5351 or email me at independz@yahoo.com. And I also do consultations. Now, I got to give you a word here. Overall, I have been having nothing but grief with the post office. So anybody that's going to order stuff from me, I'm going to have to send things through registered mail or through some sort of signature process. So the shipping is going to go up because there's been so many misplaced parcels now, and I've had people contact me saying they haven't got their parcel after 3 weeks. And I'm at a loss on what to do here in regard to this. So someone told me about using a registered mail system. So I'm going to have to do that. If you order from me, you have to consider that in the cost, because that is the way it's got to be now. In order for you to get your product and for me to make sure you're getting your product, I'm going to have to register the mail to whoever orders from me, which is going to be an added cost. So consider that when you order. Or if you are going to order, make it worth your while if you're going to have to pay that extra cost. I have no other choice at this point in time, because it seems like since January of this year, it has been one chaotic mess, one after another. So I'm letting you know this up ahead. So those of you, because I've still got people who still haven't gotten their products. One is waiting 3 weeks down in Texas, and that went out like 2 days after or a day after we talked. And she still hasn't got her product. And it's a simple little thing. And again, where it is and where it's at, I don't know. So again, I'm letting you know this up ahead. So again, not that I want to jack the price up. I really don't have no choice, because in order for me to ensure you have the product, hopefully this will work out. Alrighty, let me carry on. All right, listen, I want you guys not to be fooled by anybody. Take the time to read, take the time to study, take the time to look at this information. Don't be swayed so easily with anything that has to do with a nano delivery method or anything to do with nano in regard to the health food industry, because it is pure bollocks, pure junk, pure crap. I hear the music, so I guess I got to call it a day. All right, listen, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you Thursday. Till then, get informed. All right, thanks, take care.